Hi there, I'm Lanna Monday, and I'm back this week with Ramy El-Batrawi. How are we doing, Ramy?
I'm doing great.
So we are glad to have Ramy with us. For those of you who don't know Ramy, Ramy is not just an author. Mind you, he is the author of Can You Think and Grow Rich? But he is an investor, he is a prominent businessman, and he has made a lot of money. So today we are talking a little bit to him about his book, one of the chapters in his book. It's actually chapter 7, and it is very focused on perseverance. Would you say, is that a good term? Never giving up, facing adversity. One of the quotes that's in this chapter says, adversity is never permanent. And I think that might be your life philosophy.
Exactly. It is. Nothing permanent is decided it's permanent.
So explain to us a little bit, or tell us a little bit about your history with adversity, because we know you've overcome a whole lot of different things. In our previous episodes, you talked a little bit about being on top and then losing it all and then being on top. So tell us a little bit more and some of the content we can expect from this chapter.
Well, this is one of the most important chapters. I think it's in the top 3 chapters I wrote in the book, because it is really about an adversity that most people have failed on. I mean, I think 99.99% of the people wouldn't have survived this adversity. And I wanted to prove that even all the principles of Think and Grow Rich, it's not only about making money. I mean, it's about anything you want to achieve or anything you want to fight, anything you want to win. That's what Think and Grow Rich about. So this chapter is not even a focus on money at all. This chapter is about a public company I had back in 2001. And during that period of time, also a tragic event that happened in 2001, and 9/11, and the towers came down. And because I had an Arab name, and Adnan Khashoggi, who I was working with, had a reputation, they were calling him a Saudi arms dealer. You know, we became targets to the government. They thought we were terrorists or we did something wrong and stuff. So this chapter focused on what was going on in the company, battling the short sellers, which started a lot of the investigation by the government, 9/11, and then a solid 7 years of fighting the government not to be indicted. I had to fight the power of all the FBI, whatever
that's a big long list.
Yeah, whatever the Department of Justice can do and the SEC's resources, I had to fight. I think they spent over $50 million in those 7 years trying to find something to indict me on. And so every single day for 7 years that I got distracted, I had to deal with attorneys, the government, and to convince them not to indict me, because it was all on just what they thought and what was being told by other people and what the atmosphere of the time was. So that would have been an excuse for a lot of people not to succeed, or a lot of times after that long battle. And at the same time, I lost my fortune, and also I had to spend another $20 million of my own money to fight the government too, with all these attorneys. So it was a really long battle, which a lot of people are like, I see books and stories, oh yeah, you battled a week or 2 weeks or even a year, but this is 7 years. It shows you can never give up. So those everything I lost were temporary failures, because I know I was going to get it back. But that battle, and I was offered always to settle and give up and do 4 years, or if they found me guilty and they indicted me, it'd be over 100 years. So it was always saying no, and didn't do anything wrong, fighting it and taking it all the way until the government gave up at the end. And it's in the book, a picture of the letter when they sent a letter that they're going to refuse to pursue the indictment, because at the end there was nothing, they couldn't find anything. And I made sure that I presented every time they thought there was something, I had the attorney write a whole book about why I didn't do anything wrong on that point. So as hard as they tried, and then 3 prosecutors went through and all that, at the end, because I did not stop and I did not give up, I ended up with, totally clean and with them dropping the case, because there was really nothing there.
Wow. So how did you cope with stress during this whole time?
No, I was coping with stress pretty good, and it kind of leads in the next chapter. And this is the only time that I wish I didn't do something. And because the psychiatrist started prescribing some antidepressants and some medication, but he was a script happy doctor. And it actually worked against me than with me, because the way I think is very fast. I could think of 50 solutions in 1 minute. And what those pills did was numb my thinking. I was working like at 5 or 10% of my
Yeah,
capacity.
that's that. I
When
would
it
say I
worked.
read 5%. Yeah,
Yeah, so I felt like I was this 12-cylinder car running on 2 cylinders. So I
yeah.
still had to fight and win, working at a small percentage of the capacity, because I was numbed because of that. But normally, like, I've dealt with other things, just my confidence in myself, so I could deal with that stress. And talking about the last chapter, we talked about it, by getting rid of the fear, you don't have stress, because stress comes out of fear. So by getting rid of all my if I just didn't do that, just had no fear, didn't have fear going to jail, didn't have fear of the prosecutors, had confidence that I was right, and had confidence I was going to win, then it would have been a battle, but it wouldn't have been the stress that would cause most people. Then never recommend going on any medication for anybody, because that actually affected the future chapters of what happened to me, of not being able to come back as fast as I could have after all of that.
I like the way that you talk about confidence, because we talked about that a couple of episodes ago. And it sounds like, even though, you knew, and you stated this before, once you made money,
Right.
made a living, and had a business, you knew
Mhm.
you could do it. You had
Right.
the confidence, no matter whether you lost, you knew how to get back to where you were, from the get-go.
Right. Yeah.
And that's something that's really important that a lot of people don't have. I think the lack of confidence um, is really one of the biggest parts that why people don't actually go after their dreams or their desires or their wants sometimes, is they just don't feel confident that they could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they get a lot of that, because a lot of people tell, "Wow, that's impossible. You can't do that." So then they start
Yeah.
believing the people, instead of just like listening to themselves, and believe the opportunities are all there and people can accomplish anything. And so yeah, confidence is a big thing. So that's why you have to do it yourself,
Mhm.
and not stop until you win at that. Because once you win it at one time, then you say, "Oh, okay, I know there's going to be adversity along the way. It's never easy, but at the end, I do win." So it's good to experience it, and experience it twice, 3 times, 10 times. Then after that, it's just second nature, and you never fear, or you never stop, and you approach things so differently than being timid and not knowing. You approach things like you know what you're doing, and it's amazing. People then will follow you too. They'll invest in you because your confidence, your strength. People like leaders, and they'll do anything and follow leaders, because most people are followers. So it'll help to bring the aura, or the energy that you're supposed to have, by building it on your own and being confident all the time.
So a lot of people talk about, or may say, nobody knows you better than you know yourself.
Right.
So this kind of goes back to what you were talking about other people maybe not being supportive or not being encouraging. So would you handle those types of people?
I just ignore them. I just know that they don't know what they're talking about. One, they don't understand the philosophies of Think and Grow Rich, or the philosophies of the universe, and that again, there's just a one little poem in Think and Grow Rich, where the guy, worked for menial hire, and begged all day, and then at the end of his life, he finally figured out that whatever he asked of life, his life would have gladly paid.
Right.
So if people don't know that, and but you do, why are you listening to people that don't understand that poem was based on truth, and what somebody realized after a lifetime of suffering, when he found out and saw that you could really have whatever you want. So again, if you have 99 of the percent of the people live a mediocre life or are poor, and that's 99% of the people who's going to give you the advice, you need to look elsewhere, to that 1%er, or the book, or my book, or Think and Grow Rich, or any of the other books that copy Think and Grow Rich, just to get a different perspective that you can achieve what you want, and look at people that achieve things that are successful, and look at them, and get what they say to be what your driving force is, not what somebody feels that you can't make it because they can't.
I think one of the most important things about your book in particular
Mhm.
is the fact that you're authentic and you're credible. So, there are a lot of people out there that they talk the talk, where they may say, I'm going to teach you how to be a successful business person, but they themselves have never actually been successful in business. They
Right.
just, know how to market a little bit, and
Yeah.
that's it. And they find, people that maybe, I don't want to say they prey on them, but some people do. So I think it's so important to understand and appreciate when people come and they share their story and it's truly authentic and it's the real deal. So
No, I agree with you, because a lot of these teachers or people, motivational speakers, they just steal from Think and Grow Rich or other motivational book. They know what to say, but they've never applied it. But they don't know what real practice really means of doing that. But it resonates with people, and they're able to take their money.
Yeah, and there are a tremendous amount of people in this industry that do that.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage everybody, if you have not, please go visit Ramy's site. His site is called CanYouReallyThinkAndGrowRich.com, same name as the book. If you are looking to learn from somebody who has actually lived the life and put the principles into action, then this is the book that you need to get, in addition to Think and Grow Rich if you do not have it. And one thing Ramy is doing, he's actually offering a copy of his book along with a hard copy of the original 1937 reproduction of Think and Grow Rich that you can get from his site as a package deal. And it's only, what, $29? It's, like $29.99. So if you are a fan of Napoleon Hill, if you want to learn more, if you want to do something with your life, if you want to learn from somebody who's authentic, someone who is credible and is willing to share their experiences with you, then I would encourage all of you, please visit Ramy's site, read his book. You will be glad in the end that you did. So Ramy, thank you for joining us again today. We appreciate it. And I guess we will be back in the next episode, and we will just move on to the very next chapter. So thank you for joining us. And folks, we thank you for joining us as well. We will see you next time.